right. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Richard C. Hoagland. Hi.
Yes, good morning, Art.
Good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
My name is Carl, and I met with you in Phoenix last year at your meetings there in Phoenix.
Where are you, Carl, now?
I'm in Atoka, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Perhaps you remember I tried to speak with you several times there, and we never got a chance to really get into some of the deeper things that I wish to cover with you.
Okay, if you say so. It was a very crowded night. 2,000 folks showed up.
Yeah. I just sent a letter to Miss Barwood and asked her to forward a copy of it to you.
Okay.
It has to do with part of the extinction cycle of events that's coming. Part of the desynchronization of the moon's orbital gravity.
Oh, I remember. Yes, we did have a brief conversation. And I remember very carefully that you had some pretty interesting stuff.
Yes. The problem that we face, Richard, is we are out of time, and if we rely on the politicians and the status quo, they're not going to do what has to be done in time enough to do it. So we literally face the total extinction of all the life on the Earth.
Well, all right, that's the ultimate negative. Let me try to ameliorate that just a bit, okay?
Okay.
If things were going on the way they are, I would agree with you. But what's going to happen, and this is going to be my one and last prediction tonight, Art.
All right.
We're going to see a couple of very interesting major events, and a lot of people are going to unfortunately get hurt. Those events are then going to sensitize a lot of other people that, oh my God, it's not linear. Things are happening that we can't control. And that means that the bulk of the mainstream will begin to pay attention to where they're not even on the paper at the moment, all right? At that point, the neat thing is, this is the important thing everybody should take away from this conversation this evening. Nothing I'm discussing has to be invented. It already exists. It exists in the black world of national security, of physics, of the Cold War, of the development of extraordinary toys. You know that old joke about what's the difference between boys and men? It's just the expense of their toys.
That's right.
All these toys exist. They only have not been applied to the bigger problems because the guys with the toys don't know that they're applicable to the planet. They've thought of them as gadgets, as war toys, as, part of the Cold War. They haven't thought yet on a scale big enough. But the fact is that when the mainstream demands answers, the answers are waiting in the black community, and it requires honest political brokers like Barwood to get at those answers quicker than we normally are going to be able to get to them.
Makes sense, caller?
Yeah, I spent 6.5 years in prison, held illegally without due process of law in this United States of America because of some things that I discovered in 1988. I tried to have something done about that through the government and the FBI and CIA and Secret Service and some other people that I had dealt with when I was in the service.
Why were you in jail?
It has to do with the killing of a guy that ran a CIA operation in Palo Alto, California.
Were you accused of killing this guy?
No, not at all. In fact, I warned him that he was down for being bumped off, and he didn't listen, and he is no longer with us.
So then why were you put in jail?
Due to things that were not done when I asked for an investigation.
No. People are put in jail when they are convicted of a specific crime. What were you convicted of?
I set up a sting so that they would pick me up so that I could have my day in court.
Let me repeat the question one more time. What were you convicted of?
Pardon me?
What were you convicted of?
It was not a conviction, but I was thrown in for a machine gun that did not fire.
You were thrown in for a
machine gun that would not fire a round.
No. There are laws regarding the possession of machine guns. I don't know about whether it wouldn't fire or not, but I guess I've gone as far with that as I can. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Richard C. Hoagland. Hi.
Hi, Art. Hi, Richard. How you all doing tonight?
Just fine.
My name's Richard also. I'm calling from Humboldt County, California.
Yes, sir.
Richard, I'd like to well, before I get into that, Art, I just want to ask you, what do you think the jump in circulation was for this month's issue of Penthouse? Because I know I don't usually buy it, but I thought they treated you well.
I thought it was a very good article, and
I heard I was even mentioned.
Yeah, they
yeah,
mentioned
you were,
you
as a
too.
matter of fact. That's right. I don't know. I'm more interested in the demographics. In other words, you wouldn't normally presume that, say, a lot of old ladies would go and buy a Penthouse, right?
True.
So when they get all the figures together after the month, it'll be interesting to see the demographics of their sales.
Uh-huh. Yes, I agree. All right, well, let's shift gears for a second here. Richard, I'd like to ask you, what do we know about the Phoenix Lights, on March 13th and subsequent nights? And also, there was a UPN show I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with, where they put forth some kind of a hologram theory. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Hologram.
Total baloney, okay?
Yeah. All right. But his first question, we don't have a lot of time, Richard.
Yep.
We are down line from the Phoenix Lights a long way now. What do we know?
Well, we know that something physical appeared to tens of thousands of people. Linda's had a lot of interviews. I've talked at great length with Delatoso and Mike Tanner and other folks. We know they were not flares, all right? We now have an astronomer who was the former he was kind of my equivalent at CNN, who went to Phoenix, conducted his own investigation, and has come to an independent conclusion of any of us that, in fact, there was something real physical in the skies over Phoenix. And it was obviously operating on some kind of physics that is not currently known. Now, was it ours or was it theirs? There is evidence in both directions. And one of the things I'm going to present at the dinner on Monday night, the 20th, is evidence that Washington was in the loop, and there was a lot of phone calls and a lot of reaction to whatever took place over Phoenix. We have had a number of people over the years, Art, breaking cover and kind of revealing things that they probably shouldn't.
Right.
One of the models is that this is ours. And some guys decided, because this physics is so critical to our long-term well-being, to make a demonstration so that it would be undeniable that somebody has control of this technology and that it should be brought out in the openness, and that people like Barwood would be, very effective in bringing it out.
So you theorize it may have been some kind of demonstration. All right, listen, we're out of time. The appearance in Phoenix on the 20th, is there a phone number?
There sure is.
What is it?
On tickets, it's 602-704-1040. 602-704-1040 for the Barwood fundraising dinner.
All right, my friend, as usual, it's not really goodbye, but until next time.
Or, as they say in Paris, au revoir.
Yeah, they do say that. Richard, thank you.
Thanks, Art.
Good night, my friend. All right, that's Richard C. Hoagland, folks, and we will be back tomorrow evening. Got a very interesting show planned for you on Soviet defectors. You're not going to want to miss it. From the high desert, good night.